Have you ever had that gut feeling, that sinking suspicion that something is terribly wrong in your relationship? For John, it wasn't just a feeling. It was a slow-burning fire that started to consume his perfect life, one little lie at a time. John and Sarah had what everyone called the ideal marriage. They were high school sweethearts who had built a beautiful life together, complete with a cozy home in the suburbs and two amazing kids. From the outside, they were the picture of happiness. But pictures can be deceiving, can't they? The first crack in their perfect facade appeared subtly. Sarah, who was usually home by 6, started coming home later and later. At first it was traffic, then late meetings at work, and then catching up with old friends. John, being a trusting husband, never questioned it. Why would he? This was Sarah, the love of his life, the woman he shared everything with. He'd make dinner, put the kids to bed, and wait up for her, often finding her exhausted and distant when she finally walked through the door. He tried to talk to her about it. "Honey, is everything okay at work? You seem so stressed lately." Sarah would just wave a dismissive hand. "Oh, it's nothing, just a big project. It'll be over soon." But the project never seemed to end. The distance between them grew, turning into a silent, chilly canyon in their once warm home. John felt like he was living with a stranger. The laughter that used to fill their house was replaced by an uncomfortable silence, punctuated only by the mundane necessities of life. The real alarm bells started ringing one evening when John was helping his son with a school project. He needed a photo from their family vacation last summer and went to Sarah's laptop, which was always open on the kitchen counter. As he searched through the photo folders, a messaging app popped up with a new notification. The name was Mark from Work. The message was simple, yet it hit John like a physical blow. "Can't stop thinking about last night. You were amazing." John's world stopped. His heart hammered against his ribs, and the air was sucked out of his lungs. Mark from Work? He'd never heard Sarah mention anyone named Mark. He clicked on the chat history, his hands trembling. What he saw was a betrayal so deep it felt unreal. Weeks, no, months of conversations unfolded before his eyes. Flirtatious texts, inside jokes, and plans for secret meetups. Late meetings were dinners. Catching up with friends were nights in hotel rooms. He felt a wave of nausea. He closed the laptop, his mind reeling. He couldn't confront her, not yet. He needed proof, something undeniable. But what? She was so good at explaining things away, at making him feel like he was the crazy one, the one who was being paranoid. He spent the next few days in a daze, going through the motions of his life while a storm raged inside him. He watched her, looking for any sign, any slip-up. Sarah seemed blissfully unaware of his inner turmoil. In fact, she seemed happier, more vibrant than she had in months. She was glowing. The irony was like a knife twisting in his gut. She would hum little tunes while getting ready, her phone always glued to her hand, a small, secret smile playing on her lips. John felt invisible, a ghost in his own home. He knew he was losing her, or more accurately, had already lost her. One night, John remembered a feature he had once helped Sarah set up on her phone, an automatic audio recorder. She was a writer and often used it to record ideas and notes on the go. She'd told him how she'd talk into it while driving, capturing fleeting thoughts for her stories. It was a long shot, but he had to check. He waited until she was sound asleep, her phone charging on the nightstand. With a heavy heart and trembling fingers, he picked it up, his thumb hovering over the app. He opened the recorder and found dozens of audio files, most of them just a few seconds long, labeled with dates. He started playing them, listening to Sarah's voice detailing grocery lists, story ideas, and reminders. It was painfully normal. He was about to give up, feeling foolish, when he saw a file from 2 weeks ago, labeled simply with the date. It was long, over an hour. He put in his earphones, took a deep breath, and pressed play. What he heard next shattered his world into a million pieces. It wasn't a story idea. It was a conversation. Sarah must have accidentally activated the recorder. Her voice, sweet and familiar, was talking to someone. And that someone was Mark. They were in a car, laughing. He heard them talk about their day, about their future. He heard them making plans, not just for the next secret meeting, but for a life together. They were planning to leave their respective partners. Then came the words that would haunt John forever. Sarah's voice, dripping with a kind of affection he hadn't heard in years, said, "I just don't know how to tell John. He's such a good man. He doesn't deserve this. But I just don't love him anymore. Being with you, Mark, it feels like I can finally breathe." And then she laughed, a light, carefree laugh. She continued to talk, laying out her web of lies in her own voice. She detailed how she would manipulate the situation, how she would make it seem like their marriage was just naturally falling apart, so John wouldn't suspect a thing. John sat there in the dark, tears streaming down his face, listening to his wife meticulously plan the destruction of their family. He listened to the entire recording, every single heartbreaking word. It was the most painful hour of his life, but it was also the clearest. The fog of confusion lifted, replaced by a cold, hard certainty. She hadn't just cheated. She had calculated, schemed, and lied with terrifying ease. The next morning, John acted as if nothing had happened. He made breakfast, helped the kids get ready for school, and kissed Sarah goodbye as she left for work. Inside, he was a different man. He had a purpose. He saved the audio file to his computer and to a cloud drive. He spent the day contacting a lawyer, laying out the situation. The lawyer was clear. The recording was undeniable. It was the proof he needed. That evening, he asked Sarah to sit down. He wanted to give her one last chance to tell the truth. He looked her in the eyes and said calmly, "Sarah, I know something's going on. Please, just be honest with me." She immediately went on the defensive. "John, not this again. I told you work is just stressful. You're being so paranoid. I can't believe you don't trust me." She was so convincing, so indignant. For a split second, John almost doubted himself again. But then he remembered her voice on that recording. He took a deep breath. "You're right," he said, his voice void of emotion. "Maybe I am paranoid, or maybe I have a reason to be." He took out his phone, opened the audio file, and pressed play. He didn't play the whole thing, just a small, damning snippet. The part where she talked about not loving him anymore. The color drained from Sarah's face. Her eyes widened in horror as she recognized her own voice, her own words, echoing in the silent living room. The mask of the perfect wife shattered. The lies, the excuses, the fake indignation. It all crumbled away, leaving behind the ugly truth. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. There was nothing to say. Her own voice had become the witness to her betrayal. In that moment, John didn't feel anger or even sadness anymore. He just felt empty. The marriage was over. The fight for his family, however, was just beginning. Armed with the truth, he knew he could now build a new, honest life for himself and his children. It would be hard, but it would be real. And it all started because she lied so easily. She didn't realize her own words would become the proof he needed. Thank you so much for watching. This story is a powerful reminder that the truth, no matter how deeply buried, always has a way of coming to light. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you are not alone and that there is a path forward to healing and strength. Please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if this story resonated with you. We'll see you in the next one.